And I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to begin in the easy seat in the center of your mat, legs crossed. Bring the hands to the knees. Make sure your elbows are just relaxed underneath your shoulders. Your palms can face up or down, yogi's choice. Go ahead and close your eyes here. I invite you to keep your eyes closed for as much of the practice as you can. I don't expect it the entire time, but this will help you keep your just need to mute everybody real quick. And this will help you keep your focus internally aware while also remaining externally aware as well. Begin to find the earth beneath you. Ground down with awareness and grow tall through the crown of your head. Begin to notice your breath. Inhale and exhale through the nose with a slight constriction in the back of the throat. Start to begin to roll your neck in a clockwise position, going down and around, nice and slow. Go ahead and stop and go in the opposite direction, just making some circles with your neck. Come to a stop, lift your shoulders up to your ears, and then just relax them down. Lift them up real tight, scrunch them up close to your ears, and then relax them down again. Life is full of new beginnings. Every day when the sun rises, we have another chance to do better and to be better than the day before. The best way to start anything is to set a strong foundation. The breath is the key foundation to our yoga practice and our physical life. We want to work with it, not against it. Today we're going to begin with some 3-part breathing. Keeping your eyes closed, bring your hands to your belly. Still inhaling and exhaling with that slight constriction in the back of the throat. Notice that when you inhale, the belly rises up and in, and when you exhale, the belly comes down and out. The belly breathing activates the lower parts of the lungs and our lower abdominal muscles. Bring your thumbs up into your armpits so that your fingers are grazing in front of your chest. Your elbows are fanned out to the side here. As you inhale, the fingers come apart and the elbows draw together towards your back. Inhale, come back to center, bring your fingers to touching. As you continue this, notice that the chest breathing opens up the middle part of our lungs and helps us feel expansive across the chest. Now bring your hands to rest onto your shoulders. Your elbows are parallel to the knees. As you inhale, your elbows come up and point towards the sky. And as you exhale, they come down back parallel to the knee. The shoulder breathing opens up the top part of our lungs. It really helps us fill all the way up with oxygen when we do this. As you inhale, fill up with more prana, more energy, more life force. As you exhale, exhale out all the things that no longer serve your body or your mind. Now bring your hands to rest onto your knees. Close your eyes and let's bring all this together. Exhale out completely, round your spine, bring your chin to your chest. As you inhale, brighten across the chest and bring the chin up for cow spine. Exhale, slowly round down back to a cat. Go ahead and flow through this a couple more times with your own breath. Once you've met me back in an easy seat, I know you're ready to move on. No rush, taking your time here. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Bring your hands to high prayer and down to heart center. One more time, reach up tall, grab up all of that energy that you've just created with your breath and bring it down into your heart. This time, reach up, really reaching for the sky. Drop your left hand over to the left. The right arm reaches over to the left. Keep that right bicep by your ear and your chin up. Find length in the side body. Open up through the rib cage. Inhale, come back to center. Again, really reaching tall. And as you exhale, open up on the other side. Breathe into the side body and into the stretch. Inhale, reach back up to center. And as you exhale, fold forward. Release all the way down here. Let your head hang and let your shoulders be soft. Slowly round up, come back up to an easy seat. You're going to bring your left heel to your right glute. So your knee is directly in front of you when you're sitting here. That right foot is going to step over your left knee. I'm going to sit sideways so maybe you guys can see my angle a little bit better here. Now, as you lean back here, make sure all your fingers are pointing towards the back of the room. You're going to take your left elbow and lock it around your right knee, and you're going to turn open to the right. The gaze goes over your right shoulder here. As you inhale, you find more length, and as you exhale, you try to twist a little bit deeper, keeping the back and the spine nice and straight here. Release, come back to center, bring both hands to the opposite side, firmly press into them, and counter twist in the opposite direction. Maybe hang your head here. Release, and come back to center. Whichever leg was on bottom, you're going to switch around now. That leg's coming on top, so we're just switching the position of our legs. Grounding down through the sit bones. Lean back. This time the left hand is going to lock around the right, the right hand's locking around the left knee, twisting open to the left, and the gaze goes over your left shoulder. Release. Come back to center and counter twist in the opposite direction. Slowly releasing back to center. Uncross your legs. Release the hands behind you. Separate your feet a little bit wider than hip distance and just wiper blade your legs from the left and to the right. Cross your legs coming into an easy seat. Put the hands out in front of you. Firmly press into them and roll over your knees and shins and come into tabletop. Check your alignment here. Make sure the fingers are spread evenly. Tuck your thumbs in just slightly to protect against the wrist joints. The hands are directly below the shoulders. The hips are above your knees. Inhale the right arm up and bring the gaze up towards your fingertips. As you exhale, thread that right arm underneath the left, bringing your right cheek to the mat and extending the left arm out for thread the needle. We've got a couple options here. You can stay right here if this is more than enough for you. If you want to go a little bit deeper, take the extended left arm and grab for your opposite hip crease. Close your eyes and melt into the ground here. Option to stay right here. Option to take your right arm and push up into your shoulder, really accentuating that twist. Still keeping your cheek flat into the mat here. Slowly release out, bring the left hand in front of your face. Push yourself back up and extend the right arm back up to the sky. The gaze goes high. Release down back into tabletop. Inhale, lift the left arm up, bring the gaze up. Thread that left arm underneath the right, bring your left cheek to the mat and extend your right arm out. Close your eyes. Melt down into the ground. If you took the half binds on the other side, go ahead and move into those now. Slowly begin to release out. Bring the right hand in front of your face. Push yourself back up. Take a big breath in. Inhale the left arm high. Exhale it down to meet the right, coming back into your tabletop. Check your alignment here. Make sure that your hips are directly above your knees. We're going to begin to walk our hands forward here for puppy dog or melting heart. You can bring the chest straight down to the mat, resting your chin on the mat or the forehead on the mat, yogi's choice. Working on opening our shoulders and across the chest here. Maybe try to spider crawl the fingers a little farther forward. Check in with your breath. Slowly release down onto your belly. Keeping your spine in a neutral position here. Bring the hands directly underneath of your shoulders. The thighs and the tops of the feet are going to remain on the mat, and your neck is long. Exhale completely, and as you inhale, rise up to baby cobra. This is the foundation of the full extension of the posture. Press the hands into the mat and lift up. Only go towards the top of the hips for the full extension of cobra. Hold steady here. If you feel any discomfort in the low back, release down to baby cobra or all the way down onto the mat. Slowly lower all the way down. Bring your right cheek to the mat and extend your arms by your side. Take some refreshing breaths here. Setting up for Sphinx pose. Separate your feet to the outer edges of the mat. Tops of the feet stay down. Your palms are flat on the mat. Elbows are directly underneath of your shoulders here. Pull your pelvis down towards the earth. Lengthen the spine and brighten your chest. Make sure your shoulders are down and relaxed. This is the foundation for seal pose. Firmly root down through your palms and straighten your arms. Again, if you feel any discomfort in the low back, ease out and go back to Sphinx. Check in with your breath here. Release all the way down to your belly and bring your opposite cheek to the mat like you're listening to a secret from beneath the surface. Bring your left cheek to the mat again this time. Cactus your right arm and bring your right knee parallel to your right elbow for half frog. Feel the connection that you're making with Mother Earth in this pose. Slowly with ease, Bring your right cheek to the mat and switch sides. Cactus your left arm. Bring that left knee parallel to your left elbow. On this side, I want you to focus on drawing Earth's energy up into your body. Feel it growing stronger, more balanced, and more free. Bring your forehead to the mat, your spine's in a neutral position. Cactus both arms this time. Make sure that your legs are about hip distance apart. Bend your knees and bring your heels parallel to the sky. Bring your right cheek to the mat and drop your legs to the right. Bring your forehead and your heels back to center. Switch sides. Left cheek goes to the mat, legs drop to the left. Come back to center with everything. And at your own pace, wipe or blade your legs from the left and to the right, keeping your head and neck in a neutral position. Whenever you're ready to come back to center, meet me there. Bring the hands underneath of your shoulders. Slowly push yourself back up to tabletop. Checking your alignment here. Tuck your toes under, draw your belly button up towards your spine. Lift your knees about an inch above the mat here for beast pose, engaging the core. The gaze goes slightly forward here. Firmly root down through your hands. Check in with the breath. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. The first one of the day, go ahead and pedal it out. Walk your dog. Pedal the knees left and right. Maybe sway your hips real big from side to side. Find a static downward facing dog. Firmly root down through your hands. Make sure your neck is a natural extension of the spine and the gaze is up towards your belly button. Really shine your sit bones up high. Inhale the right leg up. Keep your hips square here. Open up to half scorpion. Bring that right foot to your left glute. Option to stay here. Option to flip your dog. All 10 toes face the small end of the mat. Rainbow your hips towards the sky and the gaze goes towards your right fingertips. Spy your mat. Flip it back. Off to three-legged dog. Bring that right leg down to meet the left. Again, walking your dog here in center, pedaling it out here if you need to. Inhale your left leg high. Keep the hips square. Open it up to half scorpion. Half scorpion. If you flipped your dog on the first side, now is your chance to flip it on the second side. Spy your mat. Flip it back. Three-legged dog. Bring that left leg down to meet the right. Take a couple breaths here in downward facing dog. Check your alignment. Inhale that right leg up. Step it through between the two hands. Drop your back foot flat and cartwheel your hands open to warrior two. Reaching for both sides of the room here. Your gaze is forward. That front knee is directly over your heel. Your shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears. Find strength in your legs and deepen the connection with the ground beneath you. Straighten that front knee. Pop your back hip back. Reach forward with that front hand. Moving into triangle pose, you can bring your hand to the shin, quad, floor, or even a block if you need it for more support. The left arm goes up and the gaze goes up. Actively try to draw your heels towards each other here. Release the left hand down to the floor or the block if you chose it. Turn your torso to revolve triangle. If you need to shorten your stance here, you could also do that as well. The right arm is high and your gaze is up. Release both hands down to the mat. Frame that front foot. Step back to plank pose. You've got a couple options here. I promised you guys no chaturangas today. So we're either going to go plank to forearm plank and back to plank, or you can drop your knees and modify it. For modified plank, down to forearm plank, holding here for a count of 3, 2, 1. Slowly pushing back up to plank, tucking your toes and hoisting your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Really easy. Inhale that left leg up, step it through, drop your back foot, open up to warrior 2 again. Really reaching for both sides of the room. Your gaze is forward. Relax your shoulders, straighten that front knee, pop the back hip back and move into your triangle pose. Actively pulling those heels towards each other here. Slowly and with grace, move into your revolved side angle, or revolved triangle. Release both hands down to frame that front foot. Step back to your plank pose. Check your alignment here. Remember, you can modify or intensify however you need to. Lowering down to our forearm plank. Draw that belly button up towards the spine, engage your core, and push up to plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees real deeply, look towards the top of the mat. Hop, step, or float to the top of your mat. Forward fold here, keeping the feet together. Take the right foot and step it behind the left so that your 2 pinky toes are touching or close to it. Inhale to a flat back, halfway lift up. As you exhale, fold forward, release down. Keep the weight in the toes here. Getting a nice opening in the IT band and the outer hips. Option to stay here with your hands flat on the mat for stability. Option to go a little bit further into this. Hollow out your belly. Relax the torso down, grab for opposite elbows and try to dangle here. Release the hands down to the mat. Uncross your legs. Halfway lift up to a flat back. Fold forward, release it back down again. This time, take the left leg, step it behind the right. Bring those 2 pinky toes as close to each other as you can. Halfway lift up again to a flat back. Fold forward, release it down. If you took the clasp on the first side, make sure you take the opposite clasp on this side. So whatever arm was on top, put it on bottom this time. Hollow out your belly and really try to open up the lower back and the hamstrings here. Release your hands, uncross your feet. Halfway lift up. Fold forward, release down. Drop your hips, reverse swan dive up to upward salute. Bring the hands to high prayer and down to heart center. Remember, we're here to build a strong foundation, and I invite you to use my mantras in today's practice. I accept the unknown, the earth supports me, and I'm grounded. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, fold forward, release down. Plant your hands and step back to your plank pose. Lowering down to our forearm plank. Draw that belly button up towards the spine. Engage your core. Hold steady here. Push up to plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Try to keep the back as flat as you can here. Slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Forward fold here. Heel toe your feet together. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit down low. The weight is in your heels. You should be able to lift your toes up here if you can. When you look down, you should be able to see them past your knees as well. Your biceps are by your ears. Your shoulders are relaxed. If this is too much on the arms, you can bring them parallel to the mat or into heart center. Sit a little bit lower for me if you can. Release down, forward fold. Drop your hips, circle sweep the arms up, upward salute. Find the Pada Bandha here. Your foot lock. Release the hands down by your side for Tadasana. Begin to rock back and forth on your feet from the base of the big toe to the base of the pinky toe, back to your heel, around the back side of the heel and back up to the base of the big toe. Maybe lifting your toes all the way up as you do this and then releasing them down so that they're spread nice and evenly on the mat here. Notice that when you do this, you begin to have a balanced foundation in your feet. And as you lift up and rise up, you begin to feel lighter in the rest of your body. Now shift the weight to the right foot and begin to feel like you are growing roots down through that right foot. Slowly begin to move into tree pose. You can bring the foot to the inside of the shin or the thigh, never the knee. You want to protect against the knee joint. You can also bring your foot upside down into your groin for the hatha version of tree. Releasing the hands down by your side at Tadasana, bringing them into heart center, or you can let your tree branches fly, yogi's choice. Hold steady here for just one more breath. Release out, maybe wiggle it out a little bit. And begin to switch sides. Find stability in that left foot and slowly move into your tree pose on the left side, taking whichever variation calls out to you today. One more big deep breath in and out here. And as you exhale, release out, wiggle it out again. Inhale, upward salute, bringing the hands to high prayer and interlacing your fingers. Steeple finger the pointer fingers. Take a big deep breath in and really reach towards the sky here. Feel that side body lengthening. As you exhale, pop the hip out to the left and begin to tilt your hands over to the right. Really opening up the side body. Keep the biceps by the ears and your chin up. Inhale and slowly rise back to center again, really reaching up for the sky and center. And as you exhale, tilt over on the opposite side. Stretching the intercostals and the fascia on the side of our body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, fold forward, release it down. Go ahead and walk your hands back out, setting up for downward facing dog again. Check your alignment in downward facing dog. Make sure that your knees are soft. We're going to change our perspective here. Slowly come down onto your forearms for dolphin pose. If you need to bend your knees in this pose, you can always bend your knees. Play around with it. Notice the different variations, and bend your knees a whole lot, and if you straighten them. Slowly push yourself back up to downward facing dog. Bend your knees a whole lot, look to the top of the mat, and hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. This time we're gonna do something a little bit different. Keep the right hand flat on the mat. Bend your right knee a whole lot, straighten your left leg, and extend your left arm up to the sky. The gaze goes up towards those left fingertips. Option to stay here, option to take this a little bit deeper. Take that extended arm, grab for your opposite hip crease. Really try to rotate your shoulder and your elbow up towards the sky here. Release, reach back up to the sky. Fold forward all the way down. Take a breath in center and switch sides. The left hand goes flat on the mat. Bend your left knee a whole lot, straighten the right, and the right arm goes up. If you took the half bind on the second side, go ahead and take the half bind on this side as well. Yoga's all about balance. Half binds, release your arm back up to the sky. Fold forward, release all the way down. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of the mat here. Keep the toes off and the heels in, sitting down low in our Malasana squat. Elbows are actively pressing into the knees and the knees are actively pressing into the elbows. Sit up nice and tall here. Make sure that your feet are flat on the mat. If you need a block or a bolster for support underneath of you, you can always do that here as well. You can also go against the wall if you need to. Sit up nice and tall. Imagine that your spine is a tree trunk. Breathe into any areas of discomfort or tightness that you might feel in the hips here. Release the hands down to the mat. If you used a block, slide that out of the way. Step back to your plank pose. Again, modifying or intensifying however you guys need to today. This is your practice. Lowering down to forearm plank. Slowly pushing back up to plank. Hoisting your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Step it through. Drop your back foot. Cartwheel open to warrior two again. Really reaching for both sides of the room. Your gaze is forward. Warrior two, flip that front palm. Bring the left arm to the small of your back or down your leg. High five the back wall, reverse warrior. Your gaze goes up. Stay low in your reverse warrior. Sometimes we tend to straighten that front knee a little bit. Get down low. Reverse warrior. Come back to warrior two. Warrior two, straighten that front knee. Pivot all 10 toes to face the long end of your mat and bring them in just a little bit further unless you're pregnant or have sciatica. Bring both hands to your hips. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, keep a flat back, hinge forward at the hips, wide-legged forward fold. Let your crown and your torso lengthen towards the ground here. If tripod headstand is in your practice, you can play around with that now too here. In either pose, feel the connection from the ground to the top of your head, your crown chakra, the connection to the divine energy. Tripods, go ahead and meet us back in wide-legged forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold, bring your hands to the hips if you release them and slowly with a nice flat back, round back up. Bring the toes out and the heels in. Setting up for our goddess pose, cactus your arms and sit down low. Actively pulling those knees towards the back of the room here. A little bit lower for me if you can. Bring that left arm under your right, wrap, twist, and round in front of your face for eagle arms. Draw those elbows up towards your chin or as close to it as you can. Pivot all 10 toes to face the small end of your mat. So we've got eagle arms and crescent lunge legs. Find stability in that front foot. With buoyancy in the back, bring that left leg up and around nice and slow. No need to rush it. Wrap it around as far as you can, actively trying to pull that ankle around the back side of your leg all the way around. Draw everything into the midline and sit down low. Draw your belly button in, bring those elbows up, and begin to move into your sleeping eagle, rounding the spine, bringing the crown of the head down. Sleeping eagle, release out, upward salute. Bring the hands to high prayer, step your feet wide, and sitting low in Armalasana squat again. Again, grabbing a block or bolsters for more support if you need it. Make sure both of your feet are flat here. Check in with your breath. Release the hands down to the mat. If you used a block, make sure you get it out of the way. Step back to your plank. Lowering down to forearm plank. Back up to your plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Same thing on the second side. We're going to inhale the left leg up, step it through, drop your back foot, cartwheel the arms open to warrior two. Really reaching for both sides of the room again. Warrior two, flip that front palm, reverse your warrior, high five the back horizon. Gaze goes up. Reverse warrior, open back up to your warrior two. Straighten that front knee, pivot all 10 toes to face the long end of the mat again. This time, interlace your fingers behind your back. Punch the fist down towards the earth. Lead with the chest, take a big deep breath in and hinge forward. Release all the way down. Again, opening your crown chakra here, feeling all that fresh blood rushing to the brain. If you want to play around with a different inversion on this side, or if you want to take tripod again, you're more than welcome to. Inversion, slowly release out. Feet is back and wide-legged forward fold. If your fingers are still interlaced, bring them to your hips with a nice flat back. Slowly round up. Setting up for our goddess pose on the second side. Heels are in, toes are out. Sit down low, cactus your arms. Pull those knees back, the back is flat. This time the right arm's coming underneath of the left. We're wrap twisting in front of our face for eagle arms. Pivot all 10 toes to face the top of the mat again. Find stability in that front foot, buoyancy in the back, moving into our full eagle. Draw everything into the midline and sit down low. Pull those elbows up towards your chin. Inhale, and as you exhale, round the spine, moving into our sleeping eagle. Sleeping eagle, release out. Upward salute. Fold forward, release down. Plant your hands, step back to your downward facing dog. Drop your knees down to the mat, bring them together. Sit back onto your heels. Hinge forward at the hips, bring the forehead down to rest on the mat. The arms are directly by your sides, palms face up. We want a passive child's pose here. Close your eyes. Begin to massage your forehead on the mat, your third eye. Now become still. Be aware of every part of your body that's touching the ground beneath you. As you exhale, feel your body becoming centered and grounded. Slowly begin to push yourself up to tabletop. Walk your hands out about 3 or 4 inches in front of you. Bring your right knee to your right wrist and just let your shin bone lay down naturally. Walk that left leg straight out behind you, keeping the knee and the top of the foot on the mat. Your hips are square here, setting up for our sleeping pigeon. If you need a block or bolster or rolled blanket on the other side to keep the hips square, you can do that here too. You can also use the block for a pillow or support as we begin to fold down into our sleeping pigeon. With the hips square, take a deep breath in and walk yourself forward. You can come down onto your forearms. You can make little pillows with your fists. You can use your block, or you can come all the way down. Your next inhale, no need to rush, slowly push yourself back up. The right hand is going to come onto the mat in the center of the mat in front of your face. The left hand is reaching back for that left foot on the knife edge side for half mermaid. Option is stay right here. Option to take full mermaid if it's in your practice. Slowly release out. Tuck the toes of that back leg that's extended. Push yourself back up and come into your tabletop pose. Tabletop again, walking the hands about 3 or 4 inches out in front of you. Bring that left knee to your left wrist, laying the shin bone down naturally, setting up for our pigeon on the second side. Remembering to keep the hips square here. Inhale to find more length, and as you exhale, slowly begin to fold down into your sleeping pigeon on the second side. Only going as far as you feel comfortable. And on your next inhale, slowly rise up. The left hand goes in front of your face directly on the mat. Reach back with the right for that right foot on the knife edge side for half mermaid. If you took full mermaid on the first side, you can go ahead and take it here on the second side. Slowly begin to release out. Come to sit on your glute. Swing that right leg all the way around. Extend both legs out long. Ground down through your sit bones. Flex your toes in here. Sit up nice and tall. You want to focus on having a slight forward tilt in the pelvis when we sit like this. So if you need a rolled blanket or a little pillow underneath of you to kind of encourage that here, you can totally do that. Ground down through your sit bones. And what helps me when I hinge forward in this pose is I follow my legs with my hands till I can go to where either my ankles, my shins, or the feet, keeping a nice flat back. Your chin stays up here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can bend your elbows and try to pull your torso closer to the ground. Just keep your back nice and flat and your chin up. Slowly release out, sit up nice and tall. Come long ways on your mat. Point your toes. Bring your hands directly underneath of your sit bones. Slowly lower down onto your forearms. Point your chest up towards the sky. And if it feels good, relax your head and neck back for fish pose. This pose is awesome if you sit at a desk all day, if you're over your phone, or if you drive for long periods. It reverses the effects of slouching. It's one of my favorites. Slowly release all the way down onto your back. Bend your knees, bring the bottoms of your feet flat onto the mat. Scoot your sit bones down close to your heels. When you reach down, you should be able to graze your heels with your fingertips. We're setting up for bridge pose. Ground down through the feet. Roll the pelvis down so that your lower back is flat onto the mat, and then lift up. Leading with your glutes and your hips. Option to stay right here. Make sure your chin isn't tucked. Option to interlace your fingers underneath of you, drawing the shoulder blades down and back. Go a little bit deeper into your bridge. Check in with your breath. Make sure you're not clenching the jaw. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, release the hands if you clasp them. Try to lower down one vertebrae at a time, counting each one as you go down. Nice and slow. Taking a breath here in center. Bring the hands back down by your side. Setting up for our bridge round 2. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw the spine down, flatten on the back, and round your pelvis up. Push the glutes up. If you interlace your fingers, do so again on the second side, but take the opposite clasp this time. So whichever pinky finger was on top last time, switch it around. Notice the different sensations that you might feel in the arms and the neck. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, release the fingers. Again, slowly lowering down, one vertebrae at a time. Setting up for our third and final bridge. If wheel is in your practice and you want to take wheel pose, all 10 fingers point the same direction as your toes. Firmly root down through the feet and push up. If you're taking your bridge, move into your bridge for the third and final time. One more big deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the hands by your side and slowly lower down. Step the feet out to the edges of the mat. Put your arms out to a T and just wiper blade your legs from the left and to the right, nice and slow. Bring the arms back down by your side. Align your hips in the hip socket. Bring your legs up the sky. Flex your toes towards your nose for legs up the wall. This pose is considered the kill of yoga. If you only have 5 minutes a day to do any posture, this should be the one that you choose. It's awesome for heart health, cardiovascular health. Rumor has it that it also helps with insomnia. You can always do it up against the wall. You can use a block underneath of your sacrum for more support, a little bit different variation, different sensations. Either way, we're just hanging out, letting gravity do the work here. Extend your arms out by your side to a big T. Give yourself a big hug. Grab for opposite shoulder blades if you can. Release. Arms back out to a T. Switch sides. Whichever arm was on top, put it on the bottom. Give yourself another really big hug again. Release. Listen carefully. With very little momentum and a whole lot of core strength, bring those feet up and over your head. Your hands can come to the small of your back. Just keep your neck in a neutral position. We want to protect against our cervical spine. Setting up for our plow pose. If you want to take this one step further, try to reach over your head and grab your toes. If you reach, bring your hands to the small of your back. Slowly begin to push those legs up to the sky for shoulder stand. Reversing the flow of lymph in the body and helping our immunity with this pose. Slowly with control, begin to lower down, bend your knees, round your spine. Lower down one vertebrae at a time, bringing the feet to the mat last. Keeping the knees bent. Once your feet have reached the mat, you're going to bring your right foot, cross it over your left knee. Take your left hand and grab your right ankle. That right arm is cactus on the mat beside you, palm up. That right foot that you're holding on to, you're going to turn your torso and bring that right foot flat onto the mat. We're just twisting here. Keeping both shoulders flat. Close your eyes and check in with the breath here. Getting a nice deep stretch in the IT band. Maybe turn your gaze over towards the cactus arm. Notice the different variations when you do that and sensations. If you turned your gaze over towards the cactus arm, bring it back to center. Slowly untwist, come back to our figure four on our backs. Bring that right leg down to meet the left. And switch sides. You're gonna cactus your left arm. That left foot's coming up and over. Grab onto your left ankle with the right hand. Go ahead and drop that left foot over to the right. Bring your gaze over to your cactus arm on the left side. Bring your gaze back to center. Slowly untwist. Bring the back flat, both feet back onto the mat. Draw both knees up in towards your armpits. Grab for the bottoms of your feet. Simultaneously pushing and pulling on the feet while we flatten our back into the mat here for happy baby. If it feels good, maybe rock back and forth from side to side, massaging the muscles of the spine a little bit. Come to hold still here, really actively pulling and pushing on those feet and hands. Like a nice stretch here. Now draw both knees into your chest. Tuck your chin in, draw everything into the midline. Squeeze really tight here. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Take a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, exhale out completely. Relax your legs down. Walk your shoulders away from your ears. Bring your palms to face up. Let the feet fall comfortably apart and close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the ground. Become aware of each body part that's touching the earth. With every exhale, feel yourself growing heavier and heavier. Your body is symmetrical and relaxed. You're able to accept the unknown, and the earth beneath you supports you. You are centered. You are grounded. Take the next few minutes to lay and bear witness to this new awareness that you've created. Wherever your attention may have drifted, bring it back to your breath, to the rise and the fall of the belly. Now wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe turn your head from side to side. Give me one big morning stretch. Reach all the way up over your head. Really reach from your fingertips to your toes. Really feeling long all the way from top to bottom of the body. Still keeping your eyes closed or downcast, move to the fetal side of your choice, using your arm as a pillow. Smile because you gave yourself this time today. Whenever it feels good, slowly push yourself back up to an easy seat, bringing your hands into heart center. Remember, every day is a new beginning, and life itself is full of new beginnings. It's important for us to have the knowledge and ability to stay grounded and balanced so that we're able to lay strong foundations that we need to succeed in these new beginnings. Thank you for letting me guide you through your moving meditation today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.